6 kilometers we walking. The last day in our walk, Chondo, our boss is coming there. They pick up us, and then 1 hour later, who have the pony, and whoever the pony people, they starting when they starting morning around 7 o'clock they start to walk. Pony people, without the pony people, they starting 1 hour all day. But every day evening I brief you. And when everybody we arrive in the Chondo, then Chondo too we come back to Darsen. And Darsen when we arrive, that times out the staff, our kitchen staff they already cook food. Maybe the breakfast we will see there times everybody in the morning. You don't like to take the breakfast, then we take the breakfast in Darsen hotels, and we collect our bag and take the breakfast. After breakfast, we start to drive to Saga. That day, and that day on the way we take a hot lunch also. We already finished the parikrama and we back to the Saga. We stayed one night in Saga, and last night we stayed in the, and then Saga to next day we come everybody in the Kerum. We stay in the Kerum. That day also we have the hot lunch. Second last day, third last day in the Saga. Before the Saga we have the one very nice waterfall. We stop near the waterfall and we have a hot lunch that day also, and we are at the Kerum that day evening. We have the farewell dinner. We ask you everybody how is your trip, like we need to feedback there. And evening we have the farewell dinner, and next day morning we cross the border, and when we cross the border our jeep is there, and I managed to jeep there, and everybody come in Kathmandu, and we arrive here in Radisson Hotel. That's our finished our trip.
What time do we get back?
We will see. Better we finished. We crossed before the lunch in border. Then we arrive around 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening here. Otherwise, we will see after lunch we cross the border. Then around 6-7 o'clock we arrive here.
So you supply the oxygen also?
Yeah, we have oxygen also. We give you the oxygen. We give you the oxygen. Every bus they have oxygen cylinder also. If you have the problem inside the bus, we give you the oxygen also there. And our doctor also we have. And every evening we check your BP and your oxygen level also.
So first of all, you have to drink water minimum 3 liters. So no need oxygen. Oxygen is water. So Kailash Mansarovar is most of places is like a desert. No trees, only bush. So less oxygen. So oxygen is water. So you have to drink minimum 3 liters. We have a doctor also tell you. So if you are feeling anything, don't keep inside. You have to tell the doctor. Then he can do treatment. So his part also he will give you speech about the health and medicine.
Okay, now. Okay, now we have another Panditji coming. Okay, then now is the time in I hand over in doctor.
Hello, namaste. So, my name is Akshay Kumar sir. Okay, so I am from Janakpur. I have did Kailash Tour last year. 3 times I went there. So I will just be briefing about a little about the altitude sickness. Now, what are the common symptoms? What are the basic remedies? Or how to identify this? Just the common basic. Most of the people you have already researched, or like before coming here you might have already researched, bought your own medicine and everything. So let's start. Now, altitude sickness, we call it like acute mountain sickness. Usually the acute mountain sickness in the simpler form we call it AMS. But if it is like more severe, like if it is involved the lung, then we call it high altitude pulmonary edema. Or if it is involved the brain, then we call it is like high altitude cerebral edema. So in the AMS, let's start. Once we start to go up, like our body.
उनीहरूलाई हिन्दीमा सजिलो हुन्छ कि इङ्ग्लिसमा कति चाहिँ नबुझ्न सक्ला
दुईजनाले फेरि इङ्ग्लिस बोल्दै बोल्दैन
So we are just talking. So better to understand Hindi or English? English.
Okay, so like our body are mostly we stay in the like lower altitude. Some people stay in the 0 sea level, some in the 1,000 meter. In Kathmandu is like 1,300 meter. So once we start to go up like above 2,500 or 3,000 meter, then the altitude sickness symptoms start to develop. Our body gets less oxygen, everything. So in lower altitude, even if we breathe like 20 breaths per minute, our normal is like 18 to 20 breaths. We get like oxygen and our saturation rate like 95, 96. But in the higher altitude, even if we breathe 20 breaths per minute, we don't get like the same amount of oxygen. But so that's why our oxygen level goes down. And in response to that, the body starts to do its own involuntary response. Like your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, and your respiratory muscle involvement goes up. That's why they consume more energy. So we need to additional supply the energy. One secondary is you don't need to worry like I am not getting 90% oxygen. With the increase in the altitude, the requirement of the oxygen goes down. Like if we are in 3,000 or 3,500 meter, it's like 80 to 85. Once we reach above 4,000 or 5,000, it's like above 70, 75 is good to go. Don't need to worry that I'm not getting too high. But serious level is if it is fall level below 60. At any point below 60 is too serious. In 60 to 70, we do monitor, we be cautious, sometimes we give oxygen, and if it does not improve, then we suggest you can't ascend, go up, you need to stay at that altitude or might need to go down. Above 70, usually we suggest like we can go and travel and everything. So the common symptoms that you know is like headache. One of the common symptoms is altitude. Is that most of the people, either you get headache due to fatigue or due to the cold air, and the air is like compared to here the humidity and everything is there low. So that all trigger, and in response you get headache, nausea, dizziness, and these are like common and milder form. We get some medicines and take also some preventive medicine to reduce our symptoms. But if the symptoms get more serious form like cough or the shortness of breath or dizziness, like dizziness, if you consider like if we walk here like due to dehydration or anything, if you get dizziness, it's like milder. You will feel just dizzy, and once you relax, it goes away. But in the altitude, the dizziness is not due to your dehydration level. It's usually due to decreased oxygen in the brain. In that, you will notice your feet incoordination. It is not like in a similar pattern. So the guide also usually notice how the guests travel. You will feel, oh, I'm walking perfectly or this dirt. But they notice, and if they notice, then they check this. Do check their oxygen saturation and everything. Okay. So, and we were talking about like symptoms. Other symptoms are like loose stool, diarrhea, vomiting. And this happens mostly in this altitude. Our digestive time is usually like 4 to 6 hours from mouth to the end. But in the altitude, it gets more longer. That's why you will feel no appetite. And even if you take some food, oh, I don't feel any hunger. And another thing that happens is during the trek, our food that you consume regularly is different. Sometimes that's also due to taste factor. You will not feel appetite. But still, in that case, if you don't want to eat solid food, try to drink whatever the soup or any liquid content or the like kheer or the something like soft diet, because you have to give energy. There is no any option of IV line. So the environment is not any sterile to do any pricking. So you have to give whatever you want through the oral. If you feel too weakness, you can take the electrolyte water, the ORS and everything. Okay? That's the common symptom. Now let's go for the high altitude pulmonary edema. So in this case, the cough will continue. Most people will have sputum. Most people will feel while walking like they are carrying their lungs with themselves. In normal time, we don't feel the lungs is there, kidney, everything is fine. We don't notice. But if there is fluid in the lungs, you will feel too heavy. In the cerebral edema, if you will have severe headache, dizziness, like sometimes incoordination. Some people get loss of consciousness, like they do collapse for maybe for some second, and then they regain conscious. These are the like serious symptoms. We have to be more cautious regarding them. Okay. Now let's go for some preventive aspect. Now in the preventive aspect, you might have already know the common drugs used is Diamox or the acetazolamide. So these are the medicine. Uh, the preventive medicine are not like 100% sure with when you take that medicine you will be I will be 100% perfect to do trekking and everything. These are just like prophylactic cure. Like they provide some the study shows they do give some better result, but not like 100%. But it's just to be reduce any risks or to give ourselves more chance, we take the prophylactic medicine. And the medicine we take is common is Diamox, and the usual dose is like 125 milligram twice a day. And that we start from this lower altitude. Okay, so once either you can start from the Raswa, like Saprobisi, from where the trek on the day one of the trek. Okay, and but if the headache, nausea, dizziness get too severe, then we go for the full dose of the Diamox. That's like 250 milligram for twice a day. And the another side effect of the Diamox is it will have numbness, tingling sensation, and it's like common for the Diamox. Like 30 to 30% people usually get this symptom, so you don't need to worry. Once you stop taking Diamox, this side effect goes away. And the another effect is like Diamox has diuretic action. So once you start taking Diamox, you will have more urine output. That's why your sodium, potassium will be little bit more lost through the urine. So you need to replace the electrolytes, drink more water to maintain the proper hemostasis in our body. Okay. Another medicine for prophylactic is dexamethasone, and it's a steroid. It works brilliantly, and it works for multiple other diseases also. In our setup, we give for like either skin or headache or any nephro condition, lot of things. But let's talk only for the AMS aspect. So once it mainly help in the lungs. So whenever any people get like shortness of breath or the saturation goes down, you feel too discomfort even like walking 200 meters, then we start with the dexamethasone, and the usual dose will be 4 milligram twice a day. But if the saturation is too low, like below 75 or the 70s, then we go for the full dose, that is 4 milligram 4 times a day, and that will be in the tablet form. If people have severe symptom, we give dexamethasone through intramuscular route, but that patient will need urgent descent down and the hospital care. That's only for the severe case. Usually we give only the oral medicine. And another what thing happen in mountain is your all blood pressure will go away. Rises above like 10 to 20 milligram every one blood pressure will rise. It's like normal phenomenon. It's mainly because our body is adapting that to that oxygen saturation. So if some people have hypertension or something, I would suggest like you continue to take medicine. Sometimes you have to increase the dose of the same medicine that you are taking, and by the time you return, you go back to your normal dose. So if people blood pressure goes too high, he or she will feel headache and dizziness type of thing. So in that case, will measure the blood pressure also. Okay, and if you normal people who don't have any medicine, we do carry some blood pressure medicine like amlodipine or the nifedipine. These are the better like drugs that help in the pulmonary congestion and the pulmonary artery hypertension. Okay, and that's like prophylactic medicines. Some people suggest like sildenafil or tadalafil that are usually used only in case of pulmonary artery congestion or pulmonary artery hypertension. Okay, now let's go for preventive common medicine for the headache.